On today's episode of Juice 901, we will be covering Vashtie's promo video for She Got Game, the Bill Cosby trial, Black Men at Starbucks, and Kanye West. So sit back and take a sip of juice.
What up, y'all? It's your girl, K. Michelle, and I am chilling with Juice 901 Podcast. Make sure you check it out.
What's up, you motherfuckers? Right now, you're watching Juice 901.
You heard it.
Juice 901.
Juice 901, man.
Who
We
got
got
the
Michael
juice?
Blackston. Who got the juice?
He got the juice.
Hey, my loves, it's your girl Monique. And if y'all want the juice, tune into Juice 901 with Tay, India, and Jahara. Only where the real juice gets delivered.
I wouldn't even understand, so I said, I don't think I can do it.
Contagiously influential. Say what it do, what it ain't, what it is. Listening to music, watching cartoons since I was a kid. Say what it do, what it ain't, what it is. Listening to music, watching cartoons since I was a kid. Turn the radio on, that's my jam. Beats banging loud like the door. With the slam, music blast out. The sunroof, play my music real loud so they can.
What's up, it's your boy Tay Speaks.
It's India Ebony, the 4'9" goddess.
It's your girl J Money, the soul pleaser, and we back.
We back.
Back
Yeah. So we finally got some nice weather.
Yo,
Yeah.
shout out
And
to the
consistent nice weather.
Yeah.
I feel like as we bragging
Keep
about
that
it, it's
energy.
getting a little windy right now.
The sun is popping.
The sun is popping.
So stop complaining
That
about the
bud is
sun, 'cause it
popping.
be cold, and I hate the
It
cold.
is. I hate the cold too.
Yeah.
So what do you guys
It's-
have planned, for the summertime? Since now we have a summer. Dang. Oh, what do you guys have planned to enjoy this
I'm
nice
trying to go to
weather?
New York, Los Angeles, and something else. I don't know.
Traveling,
Still
creative
traveling, still traveling.
pursuits.
I don't want to hear
Honestly,
nothing about you going to New York.
Bruh, look. J Monday playing. We was supposed to go on spring break. She didn't go home.
Look. Let's just see where the wind blows us, because it might be windy outside.
It's so terrible weather in New York, so I'm actually glad I didn't go to New York in March because it's been
We
good.
would have lost 3
It's
threads.
been like snow.
Yeah.
Them hoes would have got frostbite.
I definitely want to do a lot of traveling this summer also.
Yeah.
Definitely, you guys know I'm going back home to New York, probably in the July area. I'll be vlogging that, so stay tuned to that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stay
I'll be
tuned.
gone in Texas, so
Yeah.
stay tuned for that.
And I'll be in Memphis.
No, he'll be in New York with his sister.
All right. So,
But what's the
speaking
juice at
of
the other
New
day?
York, Albany's
Son?
Vashtie.
Yo, shout out to the 518 Vashtie.
Let the 518 speak on that.
Well, so basically, Vashtie has creatively directed the promo video She Got Game. Backstory on that, you guys all know the popular movie He Got Game. So now they're trying to make a female version of that. Which is basically what happened.
I need to relook at the first one though because I can't really. I just
That's
remember
a
it being
movie.
a good movie. I just
Yeah.
remember it being a good movie, and it had Ray Allen and Denzel and Washington. It had to be a great movie.
Yeah. It came out at a great time. It was good.
Do you think it's gonna be? I hope it's not. Do
It's
you think
gonna be She Got Game.
Or do you think it's gonna be corny? Because the remakes are always.
I mean,
I have a good feeling about this one. I am being a little biased because Vashtie is a part of it, but
I just like that it's a female version of a legendary movie.
yeah.
So I'm just keeping
I'm
my
here
mind
for
on
it.
it.
Same.
I just
Yeah.
pray they can act, but I wish nothing but the best.
Yeah.
Not to come off
I-
negative.
Who is the? Do you know who the lead girl is?
I actually
What's her
don't.
name? I can't remember, but we will put that
Yeah.
somewhere in there because it's
Yeah.
very important.
We'll put it in
Shout out to
or
her.
something.
But a little background on just in case you don't know who Vashtie is, she inspires me just so much because she just does a lot. She doesn't limit herself to just one career. She's a creative director. She's one of the most popular DJs in the world. Yes, in the world, because she be traveling to Paris and all that, DJing for many, many events, not just fashion. She's a model. And she was the first female to create her own Jordan. Who doing that? But yeah, that's all I gotta say about my girl Vashtie.
Well, shout out to Vashtie.
Vashtie.
Vashtie. Shout out to Vashtie. Keep grinding, young black
Keep doing
sister.
All right. So, the Bill Cosby trial, mess. So, since he's
Mess.
like one of your idols or whatever, what do you have to do? Go ahead and give your tea on it.
It's hard. I mean, of course, everybody knows that. Well, I can't say that everybody knows. Apparently, Bill Cosby has been found guilty of 3 charges. And it's actually 3 out of the 7 million other charges that he received. Well, that they tried to put on him, but basically for sexual harassment, sexual assault, and the drugging of young women to have sex with them.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, which even if he did
Like,
it, I can't. Yeah, but even if he did it, if he
I mean,
did
I'm
it,
not
I think he should
wrong
be
and
punished
right,
for it.
but I mean, I'm not righting it wrong, but I'm just saying the event took place back in the day over these accusations.
But then you have those people that say, well, it was a long time ago. Why you just not saying something? You can't really put a timestamp on that kind of stuff because it's kind
if it is,
You gotta also have to remember this not to bash Bill Cosby. You also have to remember who Bill Cosby was at that time. So you can't really. It's like trying to throw something on Donald Trump that's tenfold undone. Like he can't be touched. Like R. Kelly, like he's just now. It's just the things are just now starting to affect R. Kelly. So I mean,
well,
he probably got 10 years minimum.
Who?
Bill Cosby.
Well, if we talked about this like before, this trial, is it ended or like is he?
I think it's still kind of happening. I think there's still
well,
more.
before this point, we talked about this way before in our SoundCloud days if you've been rocking us back then. And so now we're just putting our opinions on now that he's actually been found guilty of these accusations.
So Keisha Knight, the girl that played Rudy, Pulliam.
Yeah. Keisha.
Rudy. Rudy went to support him, but she went on The Real and she said that she's supporting the man that she knows. She's not saying that he's guilty or not guilty, but no one else was really in his corner of the people, like people that he's worked with and things like that. Because the reason that this all went down initially is because like he was making, all of this has to do with like his network and the dominance that he has within NBC and things like that, and the inside stories came from those sources. So it is kind of important that people who he was working with, especially when it comes to like television and things like that, that's all you have, especially when you're building an empire, especially like the Cosby Show, like that went on for so long. It's like, I feel like it's important, ethically to support something that you have always stood by, so right. I feel like that was really mature of her to support the person that she knows, if that makes sense. So
I agree with that.
So
it's difficult though. It's definitely difficult. And it hurts, especially when somebody was your idol, and it's like you don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
I still will actually want to have a conversation with him.
I wouldn't mind talking to him about it. It's very confusing and it's a lot now. There's so many conspiracy theories about it, saying that like I said, like the NBC thing, like him trying to own that, which is like there's only 6 major companies that own everything else in the world, and NBC is one of them. So for a black man to be that powerful, especially being that powerful back then, like in the 70s, 80s, like that was even before then, like
a whole lot of mixed emotions.
Yeah, and it's just like that's a wild life. I mean, even if you even do your studies on like Paramount and stuff like that, they would make the actresses and stuff, they would make them go on crazy diets. They would remove like rib cages. They would make them have sex with directors, like all types of stuff. So I'm not putting it past him because there was like the industry back then was way more brutal than what you think is happening now. Mm-hmm. It's really just it's more of a choice now than it was back then, I guess. To say, but
I personally, I don't know. I just don't believe all of this.
It is
really
hard to believe. I'm not gonna lie.
This is just really hard.
I just need more. I think I just need to see everything. I need to consider every
it's the
single
hard
source.
part because you basically going based off.
I mean, he really doesn't have any say because there's so many people against him, and then I don't know if some people have seen it, but there's like people who believe that this one woman was reading a script and she was like fake crying and stuff like that. On top of that, this did happen so long ago. I don't know how triggering it could become after 30 plus years later.
And I could only imagine how hard it is to plead your case on a company that was for you and now all of a sudden it's a 360. Like
exactly, a company that gave you everything.
Yeah, it didn't help that he made jokes about it doing his stand-ups. Because not doing his stand-ups, but he went on the show and was like, talking about the Spanish fly, I think that's what it was called, the drug. How they used to put it in girls' drink and, you know.
Yeah.
It was
They
also
fall out.
back in the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty, niggas, if we're going to talk about that, I mean, niggas will be niggas and they do vindictive things. Not saying that that's right. And not putting that past Bill Cosby. But not saying that this trial is that deep either, because we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
But she does not support any of that.
No.
Clean that up real well.
No.
Niggas
I'm not
won't
saying,
be
I'm just
niggas.
saying, like, I'm saying both sides. Like,
but,
we're grown as fuck.
I see
here.
what you're saying.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, but.
Look, I ain't Kanye.
I mean,
I
that's why you gotta
myself.
explain. Alright.
Hate it or love it. Anyways, so let's talk about something a little more positive, I guess. So the two black men at Starbucks that were in Philadelphia that were accused of what necessarily was it?
That was okay. Apparently, they said in Starbucks they came in. That was waiting on somebody to get there. They didn't order anything yet. They was coming to have a meeting, which everybody usually meets in Starbucks. They use the free Wi-Fi. They just sit there and do homework. I definitely had times where I got tutored in Starbucks and didn't buy anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently this particular day, two young men walked in. They were told that they had to leave. They didn't have to buy. They didn't buy anything. They didn't want to. They refused to leave, so they called the police, and the police kicked them out. And I wish I'm actually gonna find. Well, apparently, like they sued or whatever, and the Starbucks CEO met with them, and I think there was actually supposed to. It was supposed to be a day where Starbucks was supposed to close to have ethics training or something like that.
Yeah, I did see that, but I didn't know that this.
I don't know if it's still happening, but well, apparently now the people.
If that is amazing.
Yeah, that's a company.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm not against that
A lot of people
anyway.
would just probably turn their head and go on about their lives, but they're actually, at least they're making an effort and doing something.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, when you think of
amazing.
Starbucks, yeah, they better keep their thing together. Like they're in their own lane. So
Well, today
I would expect. I mean, not expect, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
that's good that they're doing that. Like
Yeah, but also like I think T.I. said like the head of Starbucks was actually a black female who graduated. She graduated from.
Well, no, I think she had one of her own Starbucks. I don't think she was the overall.
Oh.
I think he did say she was the overall.
black lady.
Yeah,
One
they.
head job.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Well, either way, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Too.
But their name was Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson, and they actually settled with the city for $1 each, and a promise that there would be a $200,000 program set up for young entrepreneurs. They stated that we thought long and hard about it, and we feel like this is the best way to see the change in the community that we want to see. It's not a right now thing that's good. It's not a right now thing that's good for right now, but I feel like we will see a true change over time.
Yeah. And that goes into the whole ethical thing as well. Providing those spaces and opportunities for people who they couldn't even sit in the Starbucks, and just chill like everybody else. So it's like, now give them a space and opportunity to do what they need to do then. So I think that's great.
I think that's great also, because they, like I said before, they simply could have did something else, but now they're doing this, definitely a big improvement.
Because usually they just, throw a certificate at you or something.
It blew up too big. They couldn't do it.
Yeah, especially, it's just a lot going on with that whole subject, but...
I'm just glad they made it into a positive thing.
So, next, let's talk about Mr. West.
Mr. West.
Look, I love me some Kanye. I'm here for the music.
So you still support him?
Yeah, I support his music. I'm not going to sit here and say that one thing just made me cut him out. Now, I don't agree with everything. I'm just saying, some of that's not my business, and that's fine.
Yeah. What do you guys want to start with? Because
he did that. It was over an hour and a half interview with Charlamagne.
Yeah,
that one dropped yesterday. That one dropped before the TMZ thing, and that was basically discussing just why he lashed out at Jay-Z and Beyonce on stage. She was basically like, he was hurt about the situation, and he was, what he saying? He felt like, go ahead.
I remember that he said that he was basically being accountable for how he felt, not invalidating when the idea of family. He was saying if your family, no matter what you're going through, you're still gonna show up.
Yeah, he didn't show up to Jay didn't show up to Jay and Beyonce didn't show up to Kanye's wedding,
which was televised.
And he was cursed about that one, and this we went on that whole rant. And when Jay-Z responded, he was like, even when Jay-Z responded in the song, I gave Kanye West a certain amount of money. I forgot the lyric, 20 million. He gave me 20 minutes on stage talking about me or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, Kanye West was like, that was even in a brotherly way. He was like, I mean, basically, like, you know, they don't have any beef between each other. He haven't seen them, but like, he's like, he still feel his presence. It's nothing like that. And he also discussed Obama, about how Obama had that whole rant with Obama started, and he was just, Jay, you want to speak on that? Well, he wanted. He was basically like how it started when he said Obama didn't do anything from Chicago, and I actually talked to people from Chicago. One, for example, is Protege. She's actually from Chicago, and she backed up that statement. And I mean, but that whole thing started with, like, it started with that comment, but it started with actually way back to when Kanye West got called JASS by Obama, and his feelings were hurt from that. And because he was like, when Barack Obama was running for office, when he was running for office, he came and saw Kanye. Barack Obama came to see Kanye West's mother and him, and tell him he was his favorite rapper, and you know that he rocked with him. It's Barack Obama talking to his mama and Kanye West and everything. So when Kanye West turns back on the TV a couple months later or whatever, and that's when Kanye West did that whole thing with Taylor Swift, was like about Beyonce, about how Taylor Swift didn't deserve her award or whatever. And Kanye and Barack Obama, I don't know I think it was a joke or whatever, but at the end of the day, he was around. Like you said, like I said about Kanye West, he has too much. His voice is too big to say things like that, because now that the president has said that everything that I say to everybody else is going to come off as crazy.
Yeah, and for him to, even if you just listen to old Kanye or whatever, you can see that he was building to get to this type of influence. And I feel like he also said that he felt himself going into that constant like dark, depressive state after the Taylor Swift thing, just because he felt the shift in energy that people, the way that people were perceiving him and things like that. But at the same time, I feel like, I understand the level of consciousness that Kanye is at. It's just, and it's to the point to where he can only explain himself so much. It only makes sense to him because, like, there's so many people that just aren't on that level. Not shaming anyone when I say that. I'm just saying, like, just being misunderstood, in a way. I don't think he's meaning to diminish or invalidate anyone. And then in the interview, he was also like, why are people so upset about me freely expressing my opinion just as anyone else does, just because I'm up here and they put me up here?
Exactly, though.
Yeah. That's what he's saying.
Like, I'm
just quoting him.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. It's just back at the whole Obama thing. It just kind of, I don't know, it was kind of iffy about me. It was kind of like a contradiction, because during this whole interview, he kept saying he has love for Obama, he supports Obama, all this about positive things about Obama, but before that, he turned around and said negative things about Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's via Twitter. Although, yes, Obama did say that, towards Kanye West, but does two wrongs make a right? Like, that doesn't mean you have to go back and contradict yourself about that situation. Yes, you said Obama did not come to you and apologize. No, but you could have reached out to Obama. You could have did a lot of things. I'm not saying, I don't know if he did or not, but there's a whole lot of action.
Why should I have to reach out to Obama if Obama
because you feel some type of way.
Because Obama, I'm pretty sure he knew that Kanye West was
just as though he reached out to Trump and gave his opinion about this and that, and still defended Trump on whatever level or pedestal that he saw Trump on.
Well, like Kanye West said,
instead of bashing one of the greatest presidents that we have today about what he did not do. The office did not back
first of all,
Obama up his whole.
On top of that, Obama was fixing everything that Bush did wrong. Therefore,
what does that have to do with Kanye West's situation? Like, at the end of the day,
it's considering the source. It's considering the source.
Just like you said, Kanye West should have reached out to Obama. Obama should have said it. But he did. But y'all are on Kanye West. Y'all telling Kanye West to be careful with his words because his voice is too big. playing or not. So why don't y'all give Obama the same energy? Be careful with yours, because your voice is too big, playing or not.
I'm not gonna give him that same energy.
That doesn't make sense. It's not equal. That doesn't make sense, because y'all can't get mad at Obama, Kanye West for doing the same thing Obama did.
I mean, I'm not upset. I'm just saying, like, it is a principle around it. Just because Kanye, he did that in a way because we're all on the subject of politics and your reputation and all that other shit. Like, so he was saying it in the context. Him and Trump, he was putting Obama and Trump in the same conversation. That's why it's an issue, and that's why people disagree. And he's gonna sit there and condemn. He's gonna condemn Obama for this one box that he put him in, but he's gonna praise or talk about whatever pedestal he's putting Trump on right now.
But the thing is, he hasn't praised anything that Trump did. I'm
not saying. Well, did I say praise? I'm saying like he's acknowledging him in a different light, and that's why people have an issue, because it's like, oh, Obama didn't do this, but make America great again. Like,
but the thing,
it's confusing,
and that's the problem. So
it's emotionally overwhelming for black people.
That's a good segue into the thing what he said on TMZ. He said this on TMZ actually.
I don't think people necessarily understand what happened last week with the Make America Great Again hat. What are you trying to do with the message you're sending?
Well, it was really just my subconscious. It was a feeling I had, you know, like people were taught how to think, we're taught how to feel. We don't know how to think for ourselves. We don't know how to feel for ourselves. People say feel free, but they don't really want us to feel free. And I felt a freedom in, first of all, just doing something that everybody tells you not to do. I just love Trump. That's my boy. Like one thing is people try to minimize me to artists, hip hop, black community. Yeah, I'm always gonna represent that, but I also represent the world. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison. All
right, so the thing is about that, the problem I have with this whole thing is people don't care to listen sometimes. I do think that but Kanye West's communication skills are terrible. I do think he doesn't explain what he means all the time. In that situation, he could explain what he meant.
Yeah.
A lot better.
I think he does. Okay.
Because he wasn't wrong.
I think that he understands the fact that if he's going to use his influence as being a free thinker or whatever he wants to call himself, that he has to be ready to take what's gonna come with that. I think he knows that, he understands that. He even said that on Twitter, and he was like, once again, I'm being attacked for presenting new ideas. Yes, I agree that it is a new idea. However, nobody's gonna agree with everything that you say just as a human being. And I feel like he feels like people are putting him on a personal pedestal rather than a worldly, like, influential pedestal. You know, people are feeling entitled and taking it personal. Which there's still no problem with that, because Kanye West was for the niggas for a minute.
Yeah. And for you to present these new ideas, I'm going to need you to do your research before you come up here and present these ideas and saying these ignorant things out loud.
So what is
ignorant
he said?
You can tell that he did not do his research, because I think it was on Twitter where it was screenshots of people. I think it was said on I'm quoting an interview too, that he said that they were explaining to him the difference between a Republican and Democrat. So it's just like, you can tell that he hasn't done his background.
I feel like it's very from his perception.
Let's go back to the TMZ thing though. What he said, and I quote, I don't want to quote it wrong, about baseball. Basically, the whole gist of it was, 400, like, slavery was a choice. 400 years of slavery, like, doesn't that sound off to you? Like, slavery was a choice. Now, when people hear that, like, that's why I said he should explain himself a lot more. He went to Twitter later on to explain, but by then it was too late. People didn't want to hear it. He wasn't saying that, and I'm actually going to read what he tweeted. He said, we need to have open discussions and ideas on unsettled pain. To make myself clear, of course, I know the slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to stay in the position. My point is for us to have stayed in the position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. They cut out our tongue so we can communicate to each other. I would not allow my tongue to get cut out. Now, the thing.
Did he tweet that? He tweeted that after the TMZ
after
thing,
both
right?
things were
After the TMZ guy had basically told him what's up.
Yeah, but now that the information is out there, like I said, he got dunked up today on the Breakfast Club today. And the Charlemagne actually, the reason was because of what he said and not what he meant. And like, he didn't care to explain that while doing the thing. Like, because at the end of the day,
he didn't care to explain until after the guy from TMZ told him basically that you're wrong.
Especially if, that going back to the whole influence thing, if you're going to say, now I'm being attacked for new ideas, be ready to explain yourself as well. And I felt like he didn't care at first.
Maybe he thought, maybe he thought, and this,
just
maybe you should assume, maybe he thought that you guys will get what he was saying rather than, because if you say, if you say, you know, the old Kanye, you know, the Kanye wouldn't do this, Kanye wouldn't do this, because Kanye was for the niggas or the black people. So I mean, if you say all that, maybe like I'm talking to y'all. If I say something a certain way, I would hope that y'all would know how I meant to say this shit.
But not everybody. Well, see, that's the thing about the whole personal thing. Not everybody knows this new Kanye. They don't want to get to know this new Kanye. And then Tiana Taylor, she has defended his mindset plenty of times by saying just that, you know, you needing the right people around you, not to invalidate, but to get you to understand how to clarify yourself. Like, especially when you're presented, like, be yourself, but there is a way so that you are still respected and understood to an extent.
So being that,
I think that's important as a person. Like, you're an influence at this point. You're not just an artist. You're not just Kanye West the rapper. You're not just for the niggas. You want to be everything. You want to spread this amount of love. You want it to be infinite. You want it to be worldly. Then that's a lot more requirements underneath your belt.
He said it, and he said it himself in the interview that the universe made him this way. The universe made him an influence. So he already knew back in that graduation, Kanye, that he was going to be this type of person.
Exactly.
Just to back up.
So being that y'all know what he meant now, do you think he was wrong or right?
I think that he's entitled to his opinion.
I
can't say an opinion is right or wrong.
But it's based on real situations. I'm saying, do you think that what he meant by it was
the slavery thing?
The slavery thing. Do you think he was wrong about that?
Now, I understood what he meant by choice after, like, I was like, maybe he means mentally because we were outnumbered. I get what he's saying. However, he probably shouldn't have said it like that. I don't agree with how. I think that it should have. That was a whole nother conversation open. I don't think that it should have just been that sentence and that's that on that. Like, it was presented at a very carelessly and very just wild. Which, I mean, maybe that was how it was supposed to be. Maybe it was supposed to do that. But I just don't think if he wanted a certain reaction, it should have been different.
I think that you were saying, do we agree or not agree? I can't like fully just say I agree with him now, because what was he saying? Basically, he's saying that it was a choice because we were outnumbered.
Yeah,
basically what he was saying to sum up his answer.
We outnumbered them, and he was saying like,
and then
the fact that it's still going on for so long. Yeah. We're still mentally enslaved. We still have this slave mentality where we feel like we can't make it. We feel like we can't do it. And that's why I said he should have explained, because it seems like he tried to erase all the barriers that we have blocking us.
That's why I can't agree with the whole outnumbered thing, because for words, the Willie Lynch story.
Yeah, and he compared himself to Willie Lynch.
That right there messed with our minds. Just because we were outnumbered, that doesn't mean our mindset is just gonna be like, oh, let's just retaliate back.
Point though. That's his point. He's saying that we are still mentally enslaved. He never said that we weren't. You just argued that we still are.
So why is he saying that we had a choice of slave? Like,
no. He's saying that we have a choice. He's saying because we still mentally enslaved. We don't have to be that way. That's what he's saying. He's saying you just agree with him. You just said
so it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot of work.
So
he never said that. He never said it would be easy.
Can I say this, Luke? I don't know if y'all saw this, but Lupe Fiasco did a video response to the TMZ thing, and he was saying how the African ancestors or whatever, when they died, they the white people would take their limbs apart so that they couldn't go back and be free with their descendants and ancestors, because they knew that the Africans believed that it had to be like the whole body, like it was a ritual type of thing or whatever. So the white people literally diminished every single part of freedom that we had as African descendants. Like literally every, and then using the men and the women as different examples, like raping them, tearing their ligaments apart, whipping them in front of people. Like there's so many, and then we didn't have time. We didn't have time to heal from that. We had to work on the plantation. We had to deal with this evolution of. We couldn't even deal with our children. We couldn't even tell our children how to be emotional because we did not have time for that. We didn't have the space for that, and when we did cry.
I have a question. Because I'm trying to understand more about, his answer, because maybe y'all can tell me something. So him saying that we had a choice to be enslaved or not, is he saying that as in slaves back then, or like us being slaves now?
No, he meant back then when he said.
So therefore, he was saying two different time periods in his answer, trying to back him up. Yes. Because he's saying, what is he saying?
He's talking about
that we were outnumbered.
Yeah, we should have been.
So is he saying that now that we don't have to be slaves because of our mindset? Like what?
Okay, I'll say that now we have the resources and we have the willpower and understanding
and that's
to
the
rebel
problem,
properly.
here's the thing.
But back then, I'm gonna plead the case that no, that was not the case at all, because there wasn't. Because Harriet Tubman, that was, great. Kudos to her. Kudos to Nat Turner. But
it was way more
mentally, that was not. We did not have that. Everything was erased.
And
we didn't even know how to feel.
But you got what y'all not realizing
so
that y'all are literally agreeing with what Kanye is saying. No one. He not one time did he say. I'm saying, like, even with Jay, like, that's what I'm saying. Jay, both of y'all are agreeing on what he's saying. He's saying that when he made the statement, they cut out our tongues so we can communicate to each other. I would not allow my tongue to get cut out.
Read the whole thing.
I'm saying, okay.
Let him read the whole thing again real quick, because I personally now am trying to understand how this.
He said we need to have open discussions and ideas on unsettled pain.
This is him answering about what he said on CMT, right?
Yes.
Okay.
To make myself clear, of course I know the slaves did not get shackled and put on the boat by free will. But my point is, for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. They cut our tongues out so we can communicate to each other. I would not allow my tongue to get cut out. So he was not talking about back in the day where they held guns on us and made us get on the boat.
So what did he mean by?
He was saying for us to have stayed there is what he's saying. After slavery was abolished.
So more people should have followed Harriet in that. That's all he's trying to say.
No,
they could have.
They could have, but that was his point. He said the fact that when slavery was abolished, like when we had to stop picking when we had to stop picking cotton is what he's saying. We stayed there. We stayed there mentally because, like you said, we were brainwashed.
We didn't have no damn money.
I'm saying we stayed there. We stayed there mentally. I'm not talking about money. We stayed there mentally, like we had to do this. We had to work for.
But like I said, that goes back to evolution. That goes back to the evolution of the mind. When we stop picking cotton, I'm not trying to do that. When we stop picking cotton, that does not mean that our mind was free. That takes time. Just like Kanye even said that. It takes time.
And that's what I'm saying. So no one. Okay, you said Kanye said that. Yeah. So why are y'all hopping on him like he's wrong for what he's saying?
No, I'm just saying
we have a choice.
You do have a choice though. You have a choice. Everybody's still not mentally slave. Everybody's still like when you see people like Cam.
I'm saying now it's easier access to understand your mind to get there. But I'm saying the only thing that I disagree with is the way that he presented his thesis on the whole idea. Now, and because he sounded like a contradiction, he had to over-explain himself because he didn't explain himself.
But also, people had to start listening because it's the thing. When people hear something they don't like, they automatically start blocking out. If I say I rock with Trump, I don't rock with Trump. But if I say I rock with Trump, you gonna automatically tune me out. It don't matter what my reason is. I can be like, look, I just like how he's dressed. It's something like that. Nothing about his policies. You're not gonna even take the time to listen to that because people don't have. It's like a relationship. In order to have a successful relationship or success for anything, you have to learn how to have tough conversations. Everything's not going to be happy. We're not going to agree on everything. It's the only way to solve problems is to be able to talk about stuff, even though I don't want to talk about it. It's the only way. And at the end of the day, y'all just literally agreed what Kanye was saying. He never said it would be easy to get out of there. He said you have a choice though. It's gonna be a process regardless, but you still have a choice to get out of this slave mentality.
I think that, but the only thing, and also I will say this,
mentally or physically.
Mentally, this we
so
mentally.
Just going back to the whole emotional evolution thing or whatever. I actually did a whole paper on this my senior year of high school. But anyways, so like it's more so. It just, well, I mean, I agree that it takes time, but I'm saying that he's saying it from a place that he's already up there, and it makes it sound, it perceives as though it's like y'all like now. Of course, it's our job to do that or whatever, but it's like you cannot hold us that accountable because we don't all have that access. On top of that, there's so many other things that Black people don't even know about themselves in order to heal. So I just feel like, with him being on this platform of that level of influence that he has, it just has to be presented right the first time. It has to.
I disagree with that, but I mean,
I don't know.
I agree with the ending, but like I said, I don't think he was speaking.
I understand what he's saying
when he said that.
It doesn't matter if I disagree or agree because I get it. I get what he's saying, but
then this all it should be. I see both sides. As long as you can see both sides, you're good. You don't have to agree on everything.
I've always seen both sides of conflict because I'm not gonna leave him behind just because he is a brother. Yeah. I will give him time, to, I don't know what he going through, but I'm gonna give him time to. And
he might not even.
I don't think he's.
He might not even be going through.
He might.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that like Burbank. Oh, he going through mental. No, I don't even think he's really going through anything. I don't. But I'm just saying. All the controversy, all the things people saying about him. I was kind of making a joke about that.
Speaking of him going through things, he calls his breakdowns breakthroughs, which I think is very important. I do agree with that statement just as far as mental health for Black people goes. Mm-hmm. Word choice is so important. The way that you speak over your life is so important. So I do agree that's probably the main reason why I'm not really totally like fuck Kanye, because like, I mean, you can't. The shit that he said back in the day was real. Like he was very therapeutic, and he's always been very transparent about his mental process and things like that. So we can't knock him for that. So I think that if we as people understand him from that standpoint, then we could all agree to disagree or
whatever. Listening to his next album, no.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's your free choice.
I'm just saying. But will y'all be listening to it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm here for the music. I probably will give it a listen. But
I'm definitely gonna listen to it.
Yeah, I love Kanye West.
Like I said, just gotta learn to have those tough conversations, man, and realize that
he did say he wanted to get away from the race conversation.
Like how he gonna get away from a race conversation when he's supporting a racist?
I think it was more.
I mean, there's so much.
He's wearing MAGA hats.
I think there's more context behind that.
And then you want to say, "Oh, I don't support his ideas or whatever," but you sitting here wearing his hat, like you can't half-ass do shit, like like. Yeah.
Did you hear his reasoning behind support having a hat on?
What was his reason? Please enlighten me.
I don't want to quote it wrong, so we're gonna come back to that. I'm gonna actually make a video about that. I definitely don't want to quote that wrong. Although I don't agree with his reasoning behind it, and that's fine. But it's just, look, man, people.
I'm hungry.
And I will say, at least it got everybody talking.
And that's what influencers are supposed to do.
Hey, Donald Trump was really a blessing in disguise. Hear me out, because I know y'all trying to hear me out. If Donald Trump wouldn't have ran for president, a lot of the racists would have stayed quiet. A lot of racism in this country, and a lot of talks would have not ever been talked about as much as they are now.
Too much talking.
So being a Donald Trump, no, I wouldn't say too much. People are fine talking and think about it.
Jay is fed up today.
I am fed up.
But you got, and it's fine. No one tells you not to be fed up, as long as you're still willing to talk about it. If he wouldn't have ran for office, a lot of the talks within the Black community wouldn't have happened. Black people do not talk to each other. Black people in the community do not talk to each other. That's why Black people are going through depression
We still ain't all together.
We stick together when the time being, then we don't really, like, let's be honest with each other. A lot of these talks would not have happened. So, I mean,
I think black people do talk.
Some people sometimes you gotta come and shake stuff up to get people to talk. AKA, let's put on the hat. I'm not gonna put on the hat, but that was his reason to put on the hat though. Real talk though, but any more juice?
I got this.
Oh, rest in peace to with the Waffle House situation and the young female that died and that whole situation. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Just had to get that out.
Yeah.
And shout out to the hero who did all that. Y'all know the story.
Shout out to D9 Heroes.
Yeah, don't have to touch base on that too much, but y'all know the story. It was crazy. Be safe out here, because that could have been one of us.
Yeah.
We be out here
like
at
Waffle House
all the time.
We can't even, if you can't go to Waffle House.
Where can you go?
Waffle House. And that's too small. That's too small of a place. I'm not even trying to be funny, but that's too small.
It's just one of them things. It's just like
James Shaw, like I want to put his name in there. James Shaw. Shout out to him. James Shaw.
But anyways.
Who got the juice?
We got the juice.
We got the juice.
Juice 901.
Keep the peace.